You might be wondering, do I have to disclose being fired to a potential employer on my resume or my cover letter? Getting fired is one of the more challenging things to deal with in a job search. And in this video, I'll give you some examples of how you might answer the question, why did you leave your last job? I'm Lori Cole, Certified Career Coach with iHire, where we have 57 industry-focused career sites with personal job recommendations, job search tools, and resources that will help you get hired faster. Be sure to click the subscribe button, and you'll find all the links we mentioned in this video in the description box below. Being let go from a job is not uncommon. It's happened to the best of us, and it can leave you feeling emotionally drained. You need to work through those emotions of the job loss grief around your termination so you can learn how to stay positive and confident and discuss it rationally in an interview. We have some links at the bottom of this page that will help you work through this. When writing your cover letter and resume, think of those as your marketing documents, and you want to sell your skills and your experience, and we want that to stay very positive. So as a rule of thumb, don't include that you were fired or terminated or let go. All of these words have such a negative connotation. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule. So if you have a large gap in your resume due to a COVID-related downsizing, then it's acceptable to include this in your cover letter or resume. And it can be as simple as writing something like downsize due to COVID-19 to explain that gap. I expect that you will have to talk about this at some point, but don't lead with it. There's no need to draw attention to it before you have the opportunity to explain yourself and prove to the hiring manager that you're the right person for the job. When you get to the interview, how do you handle the question, why did you leave your last job? Now, sometimes this question never pops up, so if the hiring manager doesn't bring it up, then you shouldn't either. But if a hiring manager does ask this question, then be prepared to talk about it. Be as candid as you can without going into too much detail, and keep it positive. The best thing to do is write out a few brief talking points and practice responding to this question before you get to the interview. If you were laid off, you can say something like the company was reorganizing or downsizing. This happens all of the time, especially if it was COVID related, and hiring managers are not likely to be concerned with this response. If you were fired for just cause, spend most of your time focusing on what you learned from your mistakes and how you've taken steps to correct the problem. Avoid getting into too much detail about what you did wrong, and never deflect blame back to your employer or a former boss. You may feel that you were wrongfully terminated from your last job, and you may even be pursuing legal action. But this is your private business. Talking about it in an interview may be a red flag to a potential employer, and you don't want to give them a reason to think that you may cause legal problems for them in the future. So to recap, as a rule of thumb, don't lead with the fact that you were terminated in your resume or cover letter. If the company reorganized, downsized, or closed due to COVID-19, then it is acceptable to acknowledge this to cover the employment gap. Don't be the first one to bring this topic up in an interview, but if the hiring manager does ask about it, then be prepared to discuss it briefly and steer that conversation back to your skills and experience and what makes you the right person for the job, and remember to always keep it positive. In the description box below, you can find more information on dealing with your emotions and job loss grief, and more career advice on handling this topic. We want to help with all of your job search challenges. Add your comments below and subscribe to our channel for more advice on job search strategy and finding the job of your dreams with iHire.